Alright guys, Tetrabit here today, and I'm speaking quiet because my voice is a little bit done from day one of CWL London, and also I'm in a hotel. There's a lot of people with rooms around me, they're probably asleep, so I'm keeping it on the down low. Hopefully you can still hear me. So, today, going to be recapping day one of CWL London. It was pretty mental, obviously I'm there in person. This little thing around my neck is like a press pass or something that I've got, kind of cheeky. So yeah, let's go through the matches here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this in the next couple of days. I did have an idea where I might just go through this with some guys in my Discord. Lovely to meet you all today if you guys are watching this, awesome stuff, and I'm sure we'll hang out the rest of the weekend as well. If you did see me today at London, or if you are at London and you didn't see me, then feel free to come up and say hello. I'll be chilling wherever. I'll maybe let you guys know on Twitter what I'm wearing or something if you want to find me. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, so yeah, awesome to meet all of you guys. And I did have a plan that I was maybe going to go to. We're going to go to a bar or something, find like a round table and just set my phone up and just record like a conversation to have a chat about the recap for a few minutes, which was, I thought, a reasonable idea. But I thought today, okay, it's only 11:30 at the point I'm recording this. I should be able to get a video done, so we're going to give it a go. The next couple of days it might be more difficult because I might go out for some drinks or something. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but we're going to try and figure things out. So the day's matches were very interesting. Bit unfortunate for a European fan of Call of Duty from my perspective, because Reciprocity were, I think, a lot of people's favourite European team coming into this event, and they got smoked day one, and it was a rough one to watch. They did the typical Reciprocity thing where once they're losing in games, they just, completely start flooding it one by one, and, it wasn't great to watch. But anyway, let's go through the matches chronologically, because an excellent day for Optic Gaming, as the title would suggest. They really looked very strong on day one here, doing excellent in a very difficult pool. So let's go through the matches. First up on main stage, we had Splice versus Denial, and of course, Denial, this new team, with Rated Joe Bant, the old Red Reserve guys. I was hoping they could do something here, but they got mollywopped on main stage by Splice, and impressive stuff. Splice, of course, a fantastic team, done very well in pool play in the past, completely smoked Denial, wasn't even close. Bravo had this match, E United versus Envy, and this was a big one, and this I thought it was going to set a precedent for the day, but it didn't really end up doing so. So this new Envy squad gets the better of E United, and I thought this is going to be like, damn, this Envy team is nasty, they're going to romp through this pool. E United, a lot of people's favourites, and it didn't turn out exactly that way. Genji smoked LG, which surprised me. I thought Genji and Splice would get out of this pool, but I didn't think it would exactly be in the fashion that it was. LG not looking as good with Classic, not on that rampart. FaZe EG was a 3-2 to FaZe. Very interesting series, because EG won the first surge 6-0, and then FaZe won them out 5-6-1, so it didn't make any sense. Main stage, 100 Thieves versus Reciprocity. It's a pretty hype matchup, and Reg basically just got smoked on a lot of this. It was not close for a lot of the time. Of course, there was this controversy when this map number 4 hardpoint, it was 150 to 140 in favour of 100 Thieves. I think Reciprocity might have had a streak or two or something like that, and then the game crashes. And, unfortunately, for a Reciprocity fan, 100 Thieves able to completely smoke them on that replay of map number 4. So, unfortunate for Reciprocity, and it seems to happen when European teams get in this kind of situation. It's difficult for them to recover. They always seem to lose the replays. Optic beat Enigma 6 3-2 on Bravo. This was a close series, went all the way down to the game 5. Optic managed to pull away in that search and destroy. So, yeah, I think Optic, obviously, they had a great day, but it kind of worked for them how these matches started off. They start with Enigma 6, then they move into Reciprocity, then they get 100 Thieves. They kind of get a build through their matches, and they did it very, very well indeed. Heretics 3-0 UYU, impressive considering I'm pretty sure it was the other way around at Fort Worth. UYU, this new team with, not really new, but they've got royalty in the squad now, of course. Midnight lost to Elevate, so I'll take back the slander on Elevate. They were actually a solid team here today, and obviously very interesting squad with a couple of the French guys. They didn't end up making it out of the pool, but still, it's impressive victory over Midnight here, but this is a pool where you're not really expecting too much to come out of Pool D, in all honesty. E United versus FaZe was a 3-2. This was pretty crazy stuff on the main stage. Simp went absolutely off in the search and destroy. Some of the sniping that was going on here was pretty mental, and it set up a very interesting situation, especially because Envy actually lost to Evil Geniuses. So Apathy and JCap got the better of this new Envy squad. So everyone was a little bit confused what's going on at this point. So in this pool, it ended up where every single team, FaZe, EU, Envy, and EG, were all 1-1, which meant that whoever won their last matchups qualified and got out of the pool. So we'll see how that went down the line here. Luminosity versus Denial, crazy scenes. I think actually one thing to mention this Gen G match, I think map 2, it's difficult when you're at the venue because you can't see everything going on. You can't have multi-stream up, and to get between main stage and the side stations is, well, especially if you want to be close to the action, it's a little bit difficult. So I couldn't exactly see what was going on, but I think there was something to do with Gunless dropped like 17 kills or something in the search, which is frankly remarkable. But then, yeah, in this search and destroy against Denial, they ended up losing it in the game 5. I think it was some sort of comeback. Actually, no, the map 5 wasn't a comeback. I think maybe one of the earlier searches was a comeback. Not really sure, but Denial do get a series victory on the board, which is nice for them. But yeah, Luminosity not looking their former self at all, and Gen G smoked Splice. Now, I don't know exactly if it was a 3-0 smoker, whether it was incredibly convincing, but this is really impressive from Gen G. 3-0ing LG, 3-0ing Splice. Like, I mean, I predicted them to come out top of the pool, but I didn't expect it to be in that fashion, to be honest. Now, of course, they didn't play a series on Alpha, on main stage, and arguably their downfall could be when they are at a big states event. When they're on main stage, I'm not sure I'm going to favour this team and the names on it, but incredibly impressive from Gen G to do that, and we'll see how their last series went. It was a 3-1 against Denial. You can see it right down here. And then we had Optic versus Rec on main stage. Now, this was an interesting series. Map number 1 was close for a bit, and then it was kind of vintage Optic. They pulled away. Dashi had some... I mean, Dashi was exceptional today. Optic overall played fantastically as a team. They had, well, their players that you need to step up really stepped up. You kind of know what you're going to get from Dashi at this point, but Crimsix was very good. Karma was exceptionally good, had some very good moments, and that Scump and Tej SMG duo was phenomenal, had so many highlight moments today. And yeah, those guys were going off, and that's going to be a big thing going forward this weekend for Optic Gaming, because of course, at the end of the day, yes, they beat 100 Thieves, we'll talk about that in a second, but they've only just gone out their group, so it's a long way to go from here, but it's still very interesting because Optic were playing phenomenal today, and if they can keep that up towards the rest of the weekend, and I'll talk about this 100 Thieves match more in just a second here. So Optic versus Reciprocity was very interesting because this game number 2, we had this situation with Damon's, Barlow's Cronus, Karma's Cronus was his controller disconnected or something like that. It was an interesting scenario because we didn't really know what was going on because Karma was standing still for like 4 rounds in a row. I had no idea what he was playing at, and yeah, he just got caught out in the open, and then still Optic were winning these rounds. They had to restart the map twice, which I've never seen before, and Optic ended up winning it 6-1, even though at the end they just won like 1 round and or won 2 rounds, and then they gave them a win for it. And then the control was back and forth. Reciprocity had some nice chances, but it couldn't capitalize on any of them, and it felt like Reciprocity were always working super hard for any rounds they could win, whereas Optic, it wasn't too much of an issue for them, and it always felt like the slaying could turn in favour of Optic at any point in that game. And yeah, very impressive series from them. Heretics 3-0'd Elevate, so one European team is struggling very hard. Heretics may have a chance to bring it home here. They're going to be playing, I think, against 100 Thieves, but I'll check that later. So 100 Thieves versus Enigma 6 was another matchup. They beat them 3-1. So it was interesting going into this Optic versus 100 Thieves match because Optic had gone game 5 with E6, and 100 Thieves had gone game 4 with Rec, whereas Optic had only gone game 3. So they were the same win to loss here. Now, Enigma 6 is a very scary team, to be honest. I think they played very well. It's just how it works out when you match up with the Optic and 100 Thieves in your pool. It's pretty tough because both those teams look deadly. I don't think Reciprocity is a particularly bad team, but the Optic Gaming that come out and played today was a championship winning caliber Optic Gaming, no questions about it. So it's just unfortunate how it worked out for Reciprocity playing those two teams on main stage. And then, yeah, Midnight versus UYU was a 3-2 in favour of Midnight. So, of course, we get some weird tiebreaker situations in Pool D, which we'll have a look at. Splice take down LG 3-1 as they did in pools at CWL Fort Worth. FaZe Envy was a big matchup because this was to qualify or to get out the pool, and FaZe take it in a 3-1 fashion, so impressive stuff. Scraps and Zero, of course, another UK hope, I guess, not a European team, mostly American, but still, it's nice to see them getting some decent action here out of this squad. Now, Envy, looked really good towards the start of the day. E United also won their series against EG, so FaZe and United make it out of that pool. But of course, very interesting storylines. E United beat Evil Geniuses as well. That was the JCap versus Clayster matchup. It was pretty heated throughout that one. Clayster had a few words to say to Cap at the end. They did fist bump, but it was a little bit of a, not particularly animus, let's put it that way. So Gen.G take out Denal to finish off the day. It's just tough, right? Denal are a new squad. They go on main stage, get smoked in their first series by Spy, so no one wants that to happen. But at the same time, they do end up beating LG. They at least take a map off Gen.G, which not many teams were able to do. So, of course, they're going to go down to losers, but with an incredibly tough pool like they had, I don't think they could have realistically expected to be making it out, no problems at all. Then we have this 100 Thieves Optic Gaming matchup. This was an incredibly exciting one. Both the hard points were very interesting indeed. Enable was, in terms of kills, he was 1 in 16 at the start of that map. But in terms of EKIA, he finished 36 in 34. So we had a lot of assists going on. Definitely the entry man on that team. But at the same time, when you've got the Enable and Priest SMG duo up against Sorg and TJ, Scump and TJ playing how they were, it's a no-brainer. And I do think that 100 Thieves, like assault rifle battery of Kenny, Octane and Slasher, does probably overpower Optics, even with Dashi being, the best player in the game right now. I think on paper that is probably slightly favourable for 100 Thieves. Dashi can't necessarily do it all, but the SMG duo really did take over the game for Optic, and it was a huge reason why they were able to win this. Map 1, the fact that 100 Thieves won it was pretty incredible. I didn't think that they really had a chance. Optic Gaming even got the spawns and rotations to that P3, but 100 Thieves clutched up big time. Octane had a great, finish to that map. And then the game number 2 was very interesting. 100 Thieves looked like they had the game completely sewn up and in control, up 2-0. Optic wins 6 rounds in a row. They then take the control as well, which is a very back and forth interesting matchup. And then that final game number 4, Optic are having a big lead on the Hacienda. It looked like 100 Thieves might be able to come back, but of course that rotation from P4 to P1 is so difficult to lock down any time on because you have to control the whole of that top area. I'm not exactly sure I like how that layout works for that final rotation, but it's interesting because Optic, of course, were able to get the kills that mattered and nearly threw it away, but they ended up closing out the series 3-1 and getting their revenge on 100 Thieves from the Pro League where they lost to them. A couple of other important series then. Midnight versus Heretics. Heretics take that to win the entire pool at 3-0. Reciprocity, their woes continue, losing to E6 3-1. They lost 3-0 for Worth, so this is pretty tragic. And then UYU take out Elevate 3-1, which is a big win for them because it actually meant that they got out the pool. So when we look further up here, Heretics and UYU make it out. This is on map count stuff, so these map counts, ignore their map counts against Heretics here, just their head-to-head. So UYU ended up making it out on that count. And then we have, of course, the 2-1s, United and FaZe Clan. They make it out this pool. And this has honestly worked out as kind of a normal pool here. But, of course, Luminosity not looking good by any means. No Rampart, no Luminosity, I guess. Optic coming first in their pool. So they will be playing FaZe Clan tomorrow. This is very interesting because I thought it may be Pool A versus Pool D, Pool B versus Pool C. But, in fact, it seems like, at least according to Gamepedia here, it's going to be Pool A versus Pool C, which means they will play FaZe round 1. Heretics will play Spice, E United 100 Thieves, Jesus, Gen.G UYU. So Gen.G arguably get the easiest matchup on balance of play so far. And then, in the losers bracket, EG will play Rec round 1. There's a lot of very solid teams that are going to get top 16 here. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll probably leave you with some sort of clip from one of the matches earlier on, and hopefully my voice wasn't too quiet and the lighting wasn't too bad. It's pretty much the best I can do. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. All that good stuff, and I will see you tomorrow probably.
Come on. Yeah, I can record it. I mean, like, come on. The zone. Slide out. Kenny. Oh no! Please no! Oh! No! It's Priester again!